Sophie Cunningham owned Jacy Sheldon from the same game that Marina Mabrey did the massive body slam into Caitlin Clark on. She still owns Jacy. She still owns Jacy Sheldon. And what's great is she's got a great sense of humor about it, and she's not shy about it. I mean, what are they going to do?
Sophie Cunningham turned the WNBA into her personal mic drop show aimed straight at Jacy Sheldon, the one who got grabby with Caitlin Clark. She didn't whisper. She performed it, gifted it, and signed it.
This is kind of crazy. This one is kind of crazy. When you get Sophie Cunningham to sign a Jacy Sheldon rookie card with property of, that is crazy. That is crazy. Property of Sophie Cunningham.
Here's the reality. When your teammate is Caitlin Clark, a sellout machine, ratings cheat code, and magnet for cheap shots, you either protect her or become background decor. Sophie Cunningham chose door one and slammed it shut. This goes back to that circus game where Marina Mabrey went full NFL and trucked Clark after the whistle. But even before Mabrey's audition, Jacy Sheldon tested the limits and had Fever fans wishing the WNBA came with a penalty box.
Third quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and Jacy Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down. Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark. Tempers flaring on both sides.
Sheldon, already building a rep for accidental bumps on Clark, added another. Sophie didn't file a complaint. She put it on her to-do list. Later, Cunningham sent a clean shoulder blade reminder. Mess with Caitlin, pay interest. Not dirty, not reckless. Just basketball for, we saw that, don't. And Sophie? She kept that same energy long after the buzzer.
Sophie commits a hard foul on Jacy Sheldon. Again, as Jacy Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm going to give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional.
Fast forward to a Fever fan event. Sophie signing programs, taking pics, chatting with the diehards who show up early and leave voiceless. Then a fan slides her a Jacy Sheldon rookie card, not for just a name or heart, but a stamp, a statement, something that screams what the whole arena was already thinking.
See, she's the problem. She is the problem.
Sophie grabs the card, pen ready, and scrawls, "Property of Sophie Cunningham." Not a doodle, a declaration. Press our star? Here's the bill. It's also a league-wide memo. Indiana's got an enforcer, and her paperwork's airtight. Sheldon, you've been officially served.
Sophie Cunningham would take her rightful place as the Indiana Fever enforcer, and I believe took the first step to her becoming the second most popular player in the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham is everywhere. Barbie's walking in. She's the best looking woman walking into these WNBA arenas. I mean, Black Belt Barbie, anybody? Black Belt Barbie.
The clip hits social like gasoline. Lexi Hull cracks up beside Sophie while fans lose it. A perfect mix of rivalry, humor, and raw competitiveness. The kind that actually builds culture. It wasn't staged, it was pure Sophie. Sharp, funny, crystal clear. And she didn't backpedal. No, just kidding, no notes app apology. She leaned in. That's what you want from an enforcer. Consistency. Gretzky had one, Jordan had plenty, Kobe had guys eating technicals, Curry has Draymond. And now, the WNBA's biggest star has Sophie Cunningham. Protector by choice, shooter by trade, part-time notary for rival guards.
Sophie Cunningham has been Caitlin Clark's biggest cheerleader and defender.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
The sad truth about this video we just watched is she is the first WNBA player I have seen to openly say this out loud, publicly, and not be ashamed in declaring it.
Here's the twist. Sophie isn't some bench warmer collecting fouls. She's scoring big, dropping 15, 18, 20 points while others are still blinking. Against Phoenix, she delivered 18 on command while teammates looked lost. Enforcer energy is fun, but enforcer energy plus production? That's how you win memorable games.
Caitlin Clark is the reason we have been talking about the WNBA. Hate it or love it, it's true. I don't believe that Caitlin Clark necessarily wants that title that everyone has been giving to her. I think she just wants to be appreciated. And Sophie Cunningham, she just seems like such a real one, such a good friend. I think especially with women, especially elite level athletes, there's a lot of people, women, who will kind of stab you in the back. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of resentment, especially when you're good. But Sophie just seems like such a girl's girl. I really, really like her. Maybe Caitlin Clark should do the next American Eagle campaign, or Sophie Cunningham.
When Sophie wrote Property of Sophie Cunningham, it didn't feel petty, it felt earned. Fever fans roared because it wasn't just one bump or shove. It was a season of non-basketball contact finally getting a public return address. A teammate was saying, "Our star isn't running solo anymore," and saying it with ink, not emojis.
And what do you guys think? Do you guys think this means anything? Like, obviously, when you get a Sophie Cunningham to sign a Jacy Sheldon card, like, I think we should see that more in sports.
The dominoes fell perfectly. The autograph went viral. Fever fans embraced it, Clark's Army saved it, even neutrals shared it. Then, the bigger story emerged. Jacy Sheldon, drafted by Dallas, bounced to Connecticut, traded to Washington, wasn't making headlines for scoring or defense. Her biggest story? The guard who tried her shot on Caitlin, and the guard claimed by Sophie Cunningham.
This is hilarious. It really is. Indiana Fever star takes humorous jab at Caitlin Clark villain. You gotta love an Iowa Hawkeyes wire headline. That's really good. That's Jacy Sheldon. Congratulations. That's all you're known as. The chick that was mean to Caitlin Clark. That's your legacy. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you've been traded, and I don't think you're much of a basketball player.
The clip hit, and Fever Nation lost it. Not just a joke, it was a line in the sand. You don't make your name off ours. Sophie's edge, swagger, and production make her the team's MVP after Caitlin. Deep threes, taking charges, flashing grins, signing rookie cards. And somehow, you get the feeling this is only the beginning.
She has gone viral, all right? She's gone viral over hot girls eat Arby's. Yeah. She was wearing this outfit, this arrangement into the Chicago Sky game. Of course, the Indiana Fever, I would like to say, beat the brakes off the Sky, but really it felt like they underachieved a good bit.
Sophie Cunningham threw on an Arby's tee and accidentally nuked the WNBA news cycle. One slogan, one shirt, 800,000 sales. Bam! Curly fries are now beating courtside seats. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is somewhere silently fuming, wondering why her jersey isn't flying off shelves. What started as a joke just exposed the WNBA's real issue. One woman's raw, goofy charm dunked on the league's entire branding playbook. Sophie didn't wear the moment. She was the moment.
Sophie Cunningham's t-shirt became a marketing phenomenon. Sophie Cunningham currently plays for the Indiana Fever and has now become one of the most recognizable WNBA players. In her Barbie night, she pulled up wearing a shirt that said "Hot Girls Eat Arby's," and the internet lost it. But here's the real backstory. A few months earlier, Sophie posted a video rating Arby's. And that video was just her being authentic in herself. And that puppy went viral.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and give Arby's a solid 9 out of 10.
And following this, the phrase "Hot Girls Eat Arby's" started flying around. And it turns out that Arby's has been saying this since 2023.
The WNBA traded hoops for heat. Stats out, side eyes in. Drama's the new game, and Sophie Cunningham just lit it up. No dunk, just an Arby's tee, no filter, and all fries. Forget PR spins. She deep-fried the script and served it hotter than any buzzer beater.
We know somebody that has gotten ridiculously popular this year with the Indiana Fever. I made a prediction that she was going to be the second most popular player on this team by the end of the year. And then, of course, there was the big incident during the Connecticut Sun game. And by the end of that game, she was known as Caitlin Clark's enforcer, right? The one that's got her back. At times, it feels like the only one that's got her back, if I'm being quite honest.
She's not running plays. She's dropping truth bombs. No filters, no sparkle. Just Sophie, curly fries, and chaos. While Angel Reese chases clout, Sophie's selling 800,000 shirts and torching the league's branding playbook. No gimmicks, just realness. And it's unstoppable.
Let's talk about Arby's. She is now on the Arby's payroll. Decided that it was a match made in roast beef heaven. Hot girls eat Arby's. No knock on Arby's, Sophie, but if you give Arby's 9 out of 10, I'll take you to Racks. I'll buy you some Racks, and I think you will find that hot girls probably eat Racks. Arby's has a new spokeswoman, and it just so happens to be Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, that's right. Sophie Cunningham, who took to her social media to discuss how much she enjoyed a trip that she made to Arby's.
Sophie Cunningham blew into the W like a gust of truth. Enough to shake the gloss right off. No staged hugs, no TikTok dances, no curated clicks. She's off-brand, off-script, and exactly what fans were secretly waiting for.
Sophie Cunningham has broken the internet in multiple ways over the last day. All right, the other day, before the Chicago Sky game, this Barbie, and let's be real, let's be honest. If you were going to cast somebody as Barbie, there's a good chance you'd take a long, hard look at Sophie Cunningham.
That's why people can't look away. In a league neck-deep in performance art, Sophie just shows up. No wigs, no filter factory, no branding meetings. Just hoops, honesty, and one strangely iconic Arby's shirt. Turns out, fans might actually want athletes who act like athletes. Shocking, right? What a concept.
Let's get it! Burn! Lack of awareness combined with a lack of ability to jump. Not great! Burn!
Me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow.
Yeah! Again! Do it for me. Me bow! Burn!
Caitlin Clark shook the W without playing nice. Aaliyah Boston crushes hype with facts. They don't chase clout, they are clout. And that's scary. Fans want real, but the league keeps choosing trends over toughness, slogans over skills. That gap? It's costing way more than clicks.
700,000 followers overnight. I don't know if you guys knew, she had like 300 or something less than 48 hours ago. Insane. The enforcer has arrived. And she even posted like twice since then, bro. She's totally taken it to a whole new level. Like, Caitlin Clark has a new star. This is like a new star in the WNBA. People ain't gonna like it. People aren't gonna like it. Trace Leches, you know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull, which, by the way, kind of was obsessed with her before she even came along.
The W's starting to look less like a league and more like a beauty pageant in sneakers. Points? Nah, it's all about selfies, subtweets, and whose nails sparkle courtside. And in the chaos, the real hoopers, the grinders, the pros, the ones who let the game talk, are getting completely drowned out.
So Caitlin Clark's teammate Sophie Cunningham's jersey has officially sold out on the Fever website. And this comes the same week as the chippy foul that led to some ejections at the end of the game. It was a bit of a revenge foul taken up for Caitlin Clark after a hard foul on the other end. And then immediately a petition online from the Caitlin Clark haters to have Sophie Cunningham removed from the WNBA. They're trying to get folks to sign it. They said what she displayed tonight was disgusting. Yeah, it was a hard foul, but now it has the Caitlin Clark fans rallying around her. buying up her jerseys to the point they've officially sold out. Fortunately for this petition, I think they just turned Sophie Cunningham into a new WNBA A-list superstar.
That's why Sophie's moment hit like a buzzer beater. It was real versus rehearsed. No character, no glam squad, just a tee, a smirk, and a whole vibe. And suddenly, you could hear the panic from players whose whole brand is attitude without stats. Sophie proved fans chase real faster than polished PR, and the visibility matters crowd, awfully quiet when the spotlight didn't stick to their script.
And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough. So when Caitlin Clark last week, or not last week, a couple days ago, when Caitlin Clark got destroyed, her girl Sophie came to her defense, and this was the most beast mode thing that I've seen a woman do in WNBA history. Now, Sophie, who's my one of my favorites now, she's become one of my favorite WNBA players. I'm gonna watch her too, like I watch Caitlin. Look at what she did, and people may not say that this was in response or whatever the case may be, but I feel like Sophie is like, you want to play?
Sophie Cunningham is chaos with a jump shot and no off switch, but it's bigger than her. Fans aren't craving influencers and sneakers. They want the gritty, real ones. Sophie rose on hustle, honesty, and a splash of weird, not PR spin, and that's a problem for anyone who bet on fake.
To the arena yesterday, wearing that, there she is right there. Let's just bring this up. Over at Tater Report, there she is right there. Hot girls eat Arby's. I can only imagine, and I have no idea. I would assume this is some kind of sponsorship with Arby's, right? Right there. I don't know. The roast beef sandwich jokes just sort of write themselves at this point. And just like that, I want a cheddar melt.
A $12 Arby's tea. That's all it took. No campaign, no collab, just Sophie, a smile, and fan love that PR budgets can't buy. The game didn't change in a boardroom. It changed because real beats rehearsed. Sophie's selling 100,000 more while Angel Reese watches her merch collect dust.
New strategy, team. Angel, keep doing your part. Everyone else, go rebound her misses. If she keeps missing layups at this rate, she's going to be serving buttermilk pancakes at Denny's. Butter? Did somebody say butter? Butter pecan! Burn! At a certain point, you just got to applaud greatness. A rebound on her back? Are you kidding? Bang! Simon says, give me another pray-up. How about it? Bang! She really hit under the basket on a layup. Get this girl a GPS. Bang! Everybody get up on your feet. It's time to meet and greet the most underpaid athlete. Bang!
Let's be real, this wasn't luck. Sophie didn't just randomly go viral in an Arby's tea. This was strategy in disguise. While half the league was busy TikToking and subtweeting, Sophie was out here playing 40 chess with curly fries and charm. No stunts, no faux vulnerability, just a slow burn that blew up. Now the playbook's flipped, and some players are scrambling because the old tricks just aren't cutting it anymore.
Indiana Fever are in a disastrous situation right now. They're in an absolutely disastrous situation.
Just moments ago, Sophie Cunningham finally spoke out, and what she revealed about the Indiana Fever locker room should send shockwaves through every Caitlin Clark fan out there.
Sophie Cunningham goes in the post-game press conference and confirms what we've all known all along.
We've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands.
This locker room is split, and she uses the term different islands going on in this locker room.
Sophie literally says, there's a little thing going on in the locker room.
That's not good. That's not good to hear.
We're talking broken trust, no backup for their star, and a team unraveling from within. Caitlin's fights clearly go far beyond the court. She's out there waging war completely on her own.
There's one really concerning thing that Sophie Cunningham said.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
It's been a disaster. The good teams can keep the locker room together.
If you're still backing Caitlin Clark and believe she deserves way better than this disaster, drop a comment below. Stand up for Caitlin Clark, because after Sophie's brutally honest words, it's clear this team's falling apart, and no one's lifting a finger to protect their once-in-a-generation star.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle. Caitlin is box office.
Caitlin Clark as the star. Everything else is wrapped around her, and everything else is revolving around her.
She's Rookie of the Year in the WNBA. For weeks, fans felt something was wrong with this Fever squad, and now Sophie has torn the bandage clean off. She confirmed what everyone had been whispering. The locker room is fractured, unraveling just when Caitlin needs unity more than ever. In her post-game press conference, Sophie didn't hold back.
Sophie Cunningham, in the post-game interview, speaks on this team and the islands.
We have our own island. That line hit like a live grenade.
I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own island.
This wasn't just about missed plays or botched assignments. It was a locker room filled with disconnection, zero unity, and a blinding absence of leadership.
Everybody's on their own little island.
For a team built around a once-in-a-generation talent like Caitlin Clark, that's a blaring neon red warning sign for every fan who's watching closely.
Take care of our locker room.
Whew! You did a job at that.
Sophie admitted the squad is unstable and failing to support each other when it counts. Translation: Caitlin's not just eating hits from defenders, she's being left to fend for herself with no help from her own teammates when the blows keep coming.
Caitlin Clark, plasters over all the cracks. She realistically plasters over all the cracks of this team. This team is not structured well.
The very squad that's supposed to rally around her can't even hold it together. Last season, they had each other's backs. Win or lose, there was a sense of unity. But now, Sophie bluntly admits, everything's changed.
Even when they were losing games, it seemed like the locker room was in a good spot.
Now Sophie's basically waving a massive warning flag. And this isn't some clueless rookie talking. This is a battle-tested veteran. She even owned up, saying she's gotta step up and help unify the team. But let's be honest, that doesn't fix the cracks that are already splitting wide open.
Sophie Cunningham coming out there and effectively saying there's a big difference between her saying there are locker room issues and her saying the locker room maybe isn't where it needs to be.
Caitlin Clark's trapped in a locker room that offers her no protection, emotionally, mentally, or physically. And that collapse, it's bleeding out onto the court for everyone to witness.
It is not looking positive for them to be fixed. We can be honest here. It's not looking positive.
In games where Caitlin takes a beating, where's the support? No teammates stepping up to send a message. Just collapse when it counts. Sophie even pointed it out herself. They scored 35 points on us in one quarter.
They scored 35 points, I think you guys said. That just cannot happen.
That's a team with no discipline, no focus, and no trust. This isn't just about losing a few games. It's about a whole culture crumbling from within.
The Indiana Fever are in a disastrous situation right now. They're in an absolutely disastrous situation.
When your superstar's out there fighting alone, this isn't some ordinary team issue anymore. This is a full-scale meltdown.
If it's not minor, then again, I'm getting very close to just riding off the seat.
Sophie Cunningham's blunt remarks about players living on different islands didn't come out of nowhere. They're the result of months of dysfunction, puzzling roster decisions, and a front office that looks utterly lost on how to protect the one player who truly matters, Caitlin Clark. And a lot of this mess circles right back to DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard. Let's be clear, Bonner wasn't signed to just fill a roster spot.
Whose idea was it to bring these old dinosaurs and put them on this roster, starting with DeWanna Bonner?
She landed a max contract from the Fever in the offseason. Still one of the most baffling moves fans and analysts can recall. Sure, Bonner brought experience, but she also came with serious baggage. And despite all her veteran status, the instant result was friction, not leadership. Some insiders even suggest her sudden exit wasn't just about her brutal shooting. It was a last-ditch effort to save whatever shred of team unity remained.
One of the fractures was a DeWanna Bonner group off to the side.
One analyst didn't even hold back, asking if the Fever finally realized they had to cut Bonner just to stop the locker room from completely imploding. Her sudden release shocked the entire WNBA, but in hindsight, it's hard to ignore the signs. She may have been the wedge splitting the team apart, right as Caitlin was fighting to keep it all together. Then there's Natasha Howard, arguably an even bigger question mark and an even bigger risk. Fans and creators have slammed her for her lack of urgency, shaky effort, and head-scratching behavior off the court. In a recent game, she literally showed more concern for an opposing player than for her own teammates.
Tasha Howard decides that she'd rather rub up on Ezzy Magnabor's leg.
Even when Caitlin Clark hit the floor after a brutal foul, Natasha stood there stone-faced. No reaction, no support, nothing at all.
Anytime Caitlin Clark's been knocked to the ground, anytime Aaliyah Boston's been punked, anytime Lexi Hull's been beat up, Sophie Cunningham's been beat up, more concern about somebody on the other team than from her own team.
Meanwhile, she's quick to check on rival players, but barely bats an eye when Caitlin gets dropped, or Aaliyah takes a hit, or Sophie gets shoved around. It's not just awkward, it's flat out embarrassing. And still, with all that, Howard keeps clocking big minutes, while players like Sophie Cunningham, who actually care, stay glued to the bench. Even worse, fans are convinced this loyalty to Howard is pure politics, all thanks to Stephanie White, the head coach who once coached Howard back in Indiana. It's not about merit, it's about connections, and that's when the real damage comes into focus. By clinging to veterans who aren't all in and sidelining players who are, the Fever blew up their own chemistry. Now, the locker room's broken into literal factions. One analyst even mapped it out. Caitlin, Lexi Hull, and Sophie on one island, Natasha, Sydney Colson, and Kelsey Mitchell camped out on another.
Sophie Cunningham is going viral right now for a TikTok video she made.
Sophie Cunningham gets fined $500 by Kathy Englebrain
for making this slick TikTok.
$500 is absolutely hilarious.
Once again, the WNBA has crossed the line.
Sophie Cunningham actually posted this herself, stating, "I got fined $500.
Sophie Cunningham didn't get fined for a foul or a heated reaction. She got hit with a $500 penalty for saying what fans have been yelling all year. WNBA officiating is a joke, and she had the guts to call it out.
Fans, they're responding to this video because she's calling out WNBA officiating, WNBA refs.
Cunningham posted the video 6 days ago. It shows her lip-syncing lyrics from Sabrina Carpenter's song Man-Child. The caption to the video is, "At some refs."
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Yesterday, Cunningham reposted the video on X with a caption about the fine.
Worse yet, she wasn't just speaking for herself. She was standing up for Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest target.
Cunningham criticized some refs by describing them as stupid, slow, and useless. Damn!
Sophie Cunningham took an elbow to the face, and the ref did nothing. No call, no whistle, no reaction, just silence, as if headshots are now part of the game. The message? Take the hit. No one's stopping it. And rather than address the issue, the league fined Sophie for posting the video. She spoke out, and the WNBA made her pay for it.
If you guys don't remember what happened in this game, in the Sun game, right before this, she got chucked out of bounds and the referee just stared and watched. And then she got elbowed in the face 2 possessions later and the referees just watched.
Sophie got hit in the back of the head with the elbow, right? Ref looking right at it, didn't do a thing, didn't say a thing, was shaking her head like, nah, you flopped. That is crazy work.
This wasn't just about a TikTok. It was a warning, a clear message to silence anyone daring to speak up, especially for Caitlin Clark, who's taken hits and cheap shots all season while refs look the other way.
At some refs. Stupid, slow, useless. Oh my goodness, man.
Following play, Sophie Cunningham breathes on a player, gets called for a foul. Referees were definitely not doing Sophie any favors that game and purposely ignoring, dare I say, flagrant fouls. Elbowing somebody in their shoulder, elbowing somebody in their neck, face area. Yeah, that's a flagrant foul. There's no other way to slice it.
Sophie's message hit hard because it was true. And it echoed what Indiana Fever players have felt all season. Rough play, targeted fouls, and zero protection. The fine wasn't just punishment, it was a warning. Stay quiet or you're next.
I got fined $500 for this TikTok. I don't know why this is funny to me. Like, okay, You got it, bud, because there's not more important things to be worried about with our league right now.
Give Sophie credit. This wasn't just a rant. It was leadership. Honest, raw, and real. The league punished her, but fans backed her instantly.
Caitlin Clark, and you can tell she's talking about being mentally beat down. We also know she's physically beat down. Why does this keep happening? And look, it's not just the Fever. It's not just Caitlin. There's a bunch of players across the leagues that's been speaking out against this.
Support flooded in. Players, reporters, fans, even WNBA legends. Everyone saw it for what it was. Sophie wasn't just fined, she became a symbol of the league's deeper problems.
Am I shocked that an activist basketball league decided to target Sophie Cunningham? No. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, this whole league's got all of its priorities all bleeped up, especially from social media, this and that and the other, but that's not the point. She should not be getting fined for this.
Her fine was just another chapter in the league's playbook. Punish those who speak out, especially if they defend Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, the ones taking shots at her? Protected, untouchable.
It doesn't seem that Cunningham will receive another fine from the WNBA for her posts and her continued criticism of the league.
Stacey Dales, who covers the NFL, has been on NFL Network forever. She's laughing her ass off about this.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark's taken more cheap shots than anyone in years. Elbows, slams, trips, shoves, and she still gets the fewest calls. Fans now hold their breath on every layup, not to see if she scores, but if she survives it.
Sophie gets fined for TikTok, but players can bulldoze Caitlin almost every game with no response from the league.
It's not just unfair, it's dangerous. And the silence from the league is infuriating.
And Caitlin, she's been through the same BS. We see the pattern, and the league better start seeing it too.
Take this. Sophie gets elbowed, no call. She says a few words to the ref, who replies, "I'll remember that." Minutes later, she's hit with a phantom foul. That's not officiating, that's payback.
There's obviously, I did a video last night about Caitlin Clark, and you can tell she's talking about being mentally beat down. We also know she's physically beat down.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark gets mocked online after an eye injury, even by a teammate. Opponents laugh about it on Instagram. And the league? Silent. No fines, no action, nothing.
When Caitlin Clark returns, she's not getting abused and the referees are keeping their mouth shut. It's going to take somebody on the team to consistently speak out because we know damn sure the coach is too scared to get fined. Oh, you guys going to fine me again? This is the game that after pushing and shoving for a jump ball, she says 2 words to the referee. The referee says, "Oh, I'll remember that." Following play, Sophie Cunningham breathes on a player, gets called for a foul. Referees were definitely not doing Sophie any favors that game.
This is the double standard fans are fed up with.
When last year, after Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye, dirty Dejanay Carrington and Alyssa Smith got on IG and made us mocking Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's biggest draw, breaking viewership records, selling tickets, driving revenue. She's the league's engine, yet they won't protect her. Worse, they punish those who try. That's why Sophie's fine matters. She didn't just challenge a bad call, she exposed a broken system. The league isn't protecting stars, it's protecting its story.
Caitlin Clark has changed the game. She changed it in college and in the WNBA.
The country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has captivated the nation, breaking scoring records in college and bringing women's basketball to a whole new audience.
She is a phenomenon.
Sophie didn't start drama. She posted a video after taking an elbow. That alone got her fined. Meanwhile, players rough up Caitlin Clark without consequence. Fans see it. Even casual viewers spot the double standard. Sophie gets punished for a TikTok, but others can flatten Caitlin and joke about it online. This isn't inconsistency, it's a warning. Stay quiet.
As long as Kathy Engelbert is going to play one of the 3 blind mice, they're going to keep doing it. As long as Adam Silver just ignores this crap.
So what happens? Players go silent. Coaches look the other way. No one wants to be the next target for speaking out.
And all right, that is crazy work. They have to do better by these players. You have to protect these players, man. Protect your talent. It's as simple as that.
But Sophie spoke up. She took the hit on the court and off it to stand up for a teammate. That's rare in today's WNBA. This isn't about $500. It's about a culture where speaking out gets punished and doing the damage doesn't.
Sophie Cunningham is not the type who keeps her feelings to herself. The Indiana Fever star is quite outspoken, and she has no issue expressing her beliefs publicly, even if it gets her in trouble.
Fans have had it. The moment Sophie shared her fine, outrage lit up online. Loud, focused, and relentless. The league's socials got flooded. Some fans even offered to cover the fine themselves. That's how fed up people are.
Instead, let's fine the players because they're speaking out loud. It would be different. If the officiating was at least solid, I'd be like, yeah, you can't run your mouth about the referees. The officiating in this league blows chunks.
One viral comment nailed it. Sophie gets fined for a TikTok, but Caitlin gets hit, mocked, and ignored. That message spread fast. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Kathy Engelbert? Silent. No statement, no defense, just silence. And it's becoming her trademark.
How did we get to an all-star game in Indiana where Caitlin Clark is not healthy enough to play? Well, it all started last year in her rookie season, where she received 20% of all the flagrant fouls in the league. And most of them came from Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. And these weren't basketball plays. They were not only fouling her, but they were getting up, laughing about it, laughing about Caitlin Clark getting assaulted. Any other work environment, people go to jail for what's going on.
This was Engelbert's chance to lead, to back the players elevating the league and putting their bodies on the line. Instead, she chose punishment over conversation, control over courage. Now, fans aren't just angry, they're disillusioned.
And last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time, Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
Let's not forget, Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA is even part of the national conversation. She's breaking records, making headlines, and drawing eyes to every game, hers or not. So when she gets hammered with no call, and those who defend her get punished, the message is loud and chilling. The league doesn't care about its biggest star.
A bunch of players and coaches of the last few days have complained without being fine-worthy about officiating. I just want to see about your thoughts on if officiating is an issue and how it can be improved, because clearly there seems to be problems or disconnect between what players and coaches feel and what officials are actually calling.
This was the WNBA's moment to prove it values fairness over optics, players over PR. Instead, it chose silence, and now it's paying the price.
So it looked like Dejanay Carrington just got booted from the Dallas Wings.
Dejanay, your game was stinking in the mud, and the Dallas Wings wanted nothing to do with you going forward.
What do you call a player so chaotic, even refs need security? Dejanay Carrington. From eye-poking Caitlin Clark to injuring her own teammate while targeting another, she's been a walking tech. 4 flagrant fouls and a security incident later, the Dallas Wings finally had enough.
Now, Dejanay Carrington couldn't keep her hands clean either. Was staying out of headlines on the internet. She was always in headlines, punching players in the eye. And then we have to remember, she nearly injured Paige. Like, everybody forgot about that. Y'all remember when she nearly injured Paige, nearly took her whole knee out? Like, we got to remember all of those things transpired during this basketball season, man. I'm here to tell you, they made it their business to get rid of her.
Before we get into Carrington's exit, let's talk about why Dallas showed her the door. Tough defense is one thing, dangerous intent is another. Her highlight reel? More injury report than game tape. It all started with that infamous 2024 eye poke on Caitlin Clark that left a black eye and the league stunned.
Dejanay, you're always in a dirty play. Dejanay, once again, here we are today. Oh, Dejanay.
During the Sun vs. Fever playoff game, Clark went up for a shot and caught Carrington's hand to the face instead. Not just a brush, but a direct hit to the eye. Clark's head snapped back, she clutched her face, and that black eye, it became the defining image of the postseason.
As everyone else has seen this angle, I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
What most don't know? The aftermath was just as telling. While Clark dealt with the damage, Carrington showed no remorse, no apology, no hint she went too far. Instead, she doubled down, almost proud of the chaos she caused.
Went and kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
June 4th versus the Storm. Same story. Skylar Diggins drives the lane, and instead of a clean block, Carrington hits her in the head. Refs called a flagrant one on the spot. It wasn't defense, it was headhunting.
Let's watch it, and this will give us a couple of different angles.
Records of games. Wins the tip. Diggins, who's still fast, gets down the floor, buries it, draws the foul, but is shaken up.
Fans and analysts saw the pattern. This wasn't random. It was the same reckless hits to stars' heads over and over. One fan nailed it. That's not physicality. That's a trash play from a dirty player. Outrage only grew, and fast.
And there's Skylar on the floor. At first glance, this might not look too bad. But when we get some different angles of it, you just see how this is clearly, definitely, 100% not a basketball play. Let's take a look. We got Dejanay. Dejanay, did you forget what sport you're playing? You know this is basketball, right?
Each foul got worse and louder. The Clark hit became the blueprint. Reckless, aggressive, and aimed at stars. Whether it was Diggins or Clark, Carrington kept going for the head, stirring chaos. The pattern piled up fast, and Dallas couldn't keep covering for it.
Dejanay Carrington is clearly a dirty player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if it's Chin, what do you have going on in that mind of yours? Are you okay? Dejanay, are you okay? Dejanay, are you okay? Are you okay? Dejanay, are you okay? Dejanay, are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, Dejanay. Get it together, collect your thoughts, collect your emotions, because the last thing we need to see you is crash out.
Most players try not to hurt opponents. Carrington injured her own teammate instead. In the May 21st game versus Minnesota, she was so locked in on causing damage, she ended up taking out someone on her own team. A walking disaster, even for her locker room.
Ball's being pushed down court. Yeah, I mean, this will be a better angle of it. I think we'll be able to see how hard the foul is right here. That's a hard foul, and she does get her in the face when she's coming down.
Carrington went for another eye poke, this time at Jessica Shepard, and ended up injuring her own teammate, Paige Beckers. Shepard rose for a shot, and Carrington flew in recklessly, hitting Shepard in the face. It was so blatant, officials slapped her with a flagrant foul on the spot.
She basically reached around Shepard's body, but the fact that she went for the basketball and for the block really
basketball play.
Yeah, it is. And she ends up getting Shepard in the face, the nose. I don't know which takes precedent. Oh, see, it's the hit the ball and then it's the pull back. They're showing it on the Jumbotron at a different angle that sort of looked like, watch after Carrington goes for the block, watch her pull back right here. And that's the part that I don't know if you separate that.
But it didn't end there. Carrington's wild play also put Paige Beckers in harm's way. One reckless move, and her own teammate got caught in the chaos. Teammates started questioning if she was worth the risk. When players fear injury from their own side, something's seriously wrong.
Like, I'm sorry, you don't get to plow through somebody's back, almost injure a teammate, and then say, yeah. And then, like, claim that you've done nothing. You've done nothing. Like, and people like stand on business. She's like trying to laugh at him. Like, no, you're just Pat Bev. You're not Draymond. You're Pat Bev. Like, realistically, you're Pat Bev. That's it. And like, look, I mean this when I say this. It was a dangerous play only for Paige.
The Lynx saw it all. Carrington targeting their player's face while endangering her own teammate. The disgust was obvious. Minnesota's coaches knew this wasn't just aggressive play. It was reckless to everyone on the floor. Dallas finally saw it too. Carrington wasn't an asset. She was a liability.
Was it a flagrant 1? Yes. Could it have been called a flagrant 2? Yes. Was it more dangerous to Paige Beckers than anyone else? Because Paige Beckers was the one who was the person with the break Jessica Shepard's fall. Could she have blown out her teammate's knee? Yeah. Like, that is what, like, realistically, that is what the conversation should be about. Because she wanted the Kiki Area fan viral meme. Because as soon as she did it, look at what she does as soon as she did it. As soon as she did, she walks towards Jessica Shepard and just tries to do a Kiki Area fan face.
When you start injuring your own teammates while targeting others, you've crossed a line no team can ignore. This wasn't tough defense, it was pure toxicity. Even refs caught on, treating Carrington differently. In the Chicago Sky game, it hit a peak. Officials actually called for security. That's the DeJohnay Carrington experience.
What is it, do you think, about your game that has people just can't wait to see you on the professional level?
I think it's just the style of basketball that I play, but also I think people like love the fire and the emotion that I have and like the smile I always have on my face. To be honest, I don't get nervous for games because like I just know like this is fun for me.
Moments after yet another jaw-dropping performance, Caitlin Clark took her seat at the podium, ready for the routine volley of post-game questions. But then, a veteran reporter shattered that rhythm, and for the first time in recent memory, Clark was left without words. What exactly was said, and why can't anyone stop talking about it? Let's break down the reporter's statement that stunned Caitlin Clark into silence. The Indiana Fever had just secured a pivotal 94-87 victory over the Las Vegas Aces at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Clark had led the charge with what many hailed as her finest all-around pro performance yet. 28 points on 11 for 18 shooting, 6 of those buckets from deep, plus 12 assists, 5 rebounds, and only 2 turnovers in a grueling 38 minutes. The win nudged Indiana into playoff territory with just weeks remaining in the regular season. The press room buzzed with energy, cameras clicking, reporters jotting furiously, Clark delivering answers with her signature blend of composure and competitive fire. ESPN's Holly Rowe asked about her growing chemistry with Aaliyah Boston, especially their deadly pick and roll that had carved out 18 points in the paint. Clark smiled. The trust between us is really growing. Aaliyah's been patient with me while I've adjusted to the timing at this level. Tonight felt like we were reading each other's minds. Then Stephen A. Smith, who'd been uncharacteristically silent the whole 15 minutes, caught her eye. Known for his booming voice and unapologetic takes, he was a towering presence even in stillness. "Stephen, go ahead," Clark invited. He rose slowly, the theatrics stripped away, his expression more pensive than performative. The room's energy shifted. This wasn't going to be a typical soundbite. "Caitlin," he began, his tone low and deliberate, I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've spoken to thousands of athletes in every sport, seen champions rise and teams crumble. I've interviewed legends and those history forgot. I've watched rookies who shocked the world and veterans who faded. But there's one thing I need to ask, something that's been on my mind since I started really watching you this season. The room fell into a heavy, almost cinematic silence. Fingers hovered over keyboards, mid-sentence. Camera operators inched closer. Even the Fever's media crew, poised to wrap things up, froze in place. "You know," Smith began, his voice cutting through the stillness, "I've built my career on being honest, brutally honest. If an athlete falls short, I say it. I don't apologize for holding high standards. That's the job. But watching you this season, how you've handled the weight, the expectations, the leap from college to the pros, it's made me think." He paused, rubbing his face in a way that felt raw, unpolished, human. "There's something I should have said long ago, and honestly, I owe you an apology." Then came the question. How do you keep showing this much grace, this much professionalism, when people like me, especially me, have been unfair? I've been too harsh, too quick to judge, and flat out wrong about your transition to the pro level. I owe it to you and to everyone here to admit that you've proved a lot of us wrong. You deserved better than some of the things I've said. For the first time in her pro career, maybe even since high school, Caitlin Clark had no answer ready. This was the same player who'd stared down roaring Michigan State crowds, thrived under Final Four spotlights, fielded tough questions, and carried the weight of being the most scrutinized rookie in WNBA history. Now, she simply froze. Her mouth opened, then closed. Her hands, once animated, now rested still on the podium. "Wow," she breathed, the words trembling. The confidence that usually wrapped around her like armor seemed to slip. "Steven, I honestly don't know what to say to that," she admitted softly. "I really don't have words." The silence stretched. Everyone understood they were watching something rare, unscripted and unfiltered. Even teammates Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith, halfway to the bus, turned back toward the doorway, sensing the weight of the moment. "I mean," Clark tried again, her voice still unsteady. "You asking me that? You saying that? It means more than you know. Because yeah, it's been tough. The criticism, the constant comparisons to my college numbers. People doubting if I could make the leap from the Big Ten to the WNBA, wondering if the hype was too much." She drew a breath, grounding herself. "But all of that, it fueled me. It made me put in more hours in the gym, watch more film, prove, not just to everyone else, but to myself, that I belong here, that I can be the kind of player and teammate this league needs, that the fans who believe in me weren't wrong." Her eyes lifted, voice steady now. "And hearing you say that, hearing you admit maybe some of it wasn't fair, it's overwhelming, but in the best possible way." Stephen A. Smith nodded slowly, then slipped a folded set of handwritten notes from his jacket. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment remark. It was deliberate, prepared. "There's more I need to say," he began, voice low but steady. "And I need to say it here, out loud, because I've said things before on TV that weren't fair or fully thought through. It's time I own that." He glanced down at the page, his tone heavy with regret. 3 months ago, on First Take, I called you overhyped. I said the buzz around you was just media spin, especially from ESPN, to boost ratings. I claimed you needed to get through a full WNBA season before earning this kind of spotlight. I questioned whether you were strong enough, fast enough for the pros. I even said your college success didn't guarantee anything here. And while there's a grain of truth in wanting to see a full body of work, the way I said it erased everything you'd already accomplished. At the back of the room, Caitlin's teammates, Aaliyah Boston and Erica Wheeler, had appeared, watching intently as the moment unfolded under the glare of the sports media. "But here's what I've learned since then," Smith continued, his voice now gaining strength. You're averaging 19.5 points and 8.4 assists in your rookie year. For perspective, Diana Taurasi had 17 points and 4.4 assists in her first season. Sue Bird, 14.4 points, 5.9 assists. You're delivering one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen. He lifted his eyes to meet Clark's, and in that steady gaze there was no performance, only sincerity. But numbers aren't the whole story. You've brought more attention to women's basketball than we've seen in decades, maybe ever. League attendance is up 48% when your team's on the road. TV ratings for Fever games have tripled. Your jersey sales have jumped over 200%. And beyond all of that, it's the way you lead, the way you credit your teammates, the way you handle pressure, the way you raise the game of everyone around you. His voice grew thick, words almost catching. I was wrong about you, Caitlin. Wrong to doubt if you were ready. Wrong to question if you deserved the attention. I judged you by an outdated standard and failed to see what was right in front of me. You're not just a great rookie. You're changing the game for women's basketball. And for that, I owe you, the league, and my audience an apology. The press room seemed to ignite. Camera shutters clicked furiously, reporters typing as fast as their fingers would move, each trying to capture the moment. Holly Rowe, no stranger to emotional scenes, dabbed at her eyes even as she kept scribbling notes. Adrian Wojnarowski, usually the definition of composure, raised his phone to record. He knew history was happening here. Sue Bird, present as an ESPN analyst, stood and began to clap. The sound spread, first the ESPN crew, then other journalists, then Fever staff in the back. Aaliyah Boston stepped forward to the podium, laying a steadying hand on Clark's shoulder. It was a quiet, wordless show of solidarity, and it seemed to anchor Clark in the middle of a moment she would never forget. Then Caitlin spoke, her voice steady now. "Steven," she began, "you don't need to apologize to me. Sports media is supposed to challenge us. It's supposed to be tough, to hold athletes accountable, to ask hard questions. What matters is that you're willing to rethink your position when new facts come along. That takes real strength and honesty." Her gaze swept across the room, locking eyes with reporters, some of whom had been openly critical of her rocky start in the pros. "And honestly," she continued, "that criticism helped me. It pushed me. It made me work harder, not just to prove something to fans or reporters, but to prove to myself that I belong here, that I can compete, that I can win at this level, that I can handle the jump from college to the pros, and maybe even master it." The conversation shifted. Adrian Wojnarowski, still recording from his seat, raised a hand. "Caitlin," he said, "going back to what Stephen A. mentioned about rethinking how we cover sports, how do you think the media's approach to women's basketball has changed since you entered the league? And what would you like to see happen next?" Clark paused, clearly weighing her words. "I think we've definitely gotten more attention," she said. "That's amazing. Not just for me, but for the young girls watching, and for the incredible women who've been building this league for years. But more attention also means more pressure, and that's fine, as long as the criticism is fair and based on facts." She glanced back toward Stephen A., who remained standing, listening intently. "What I respect about Stephen A. today is that he's showing growth. He's willing to listen and learn. Covering women's sports isn't just about using the same playbook you use for men's sports. This is something different, something meaningful, and it needs to be understood in its own context, with all the unique challenges and opportunities that come with being a woman playing pro basketball in 2025. Rebecca Lobo, seated a few rows back, jumped in. "Caitlin, you mentioned using criticism as motivation. How have you managed the pressure of being seen as the face of what many are calling a new era for the WNBA?" Clark smiled, her confidence now fully back. "That's the thing," she said. "I never planned to be the face of anything." And then, just when it seemed the most surprising moment of the day had passed, Stephen A. reached once more into his jacket. This time, he pulled out a small, well-worn piece of paper, its edges soft from being folded and unfolded countless times. "Caitlin," he said, his voice quieter now, "there's one more thing. The most important thing I came here to share. My daughter plays basketball for her middle school team in New York. She's followed your journey since your junior year at Iowa. And a while back, she asked me to give you something if I ever got the chance to meet you." He rose from his seat, walked to the podium, and placed the folded paper in Clark's hands. "She wrote you a letter a few months ago, back when I was being pretty critical about your start in the pros," he said. "She made me promise I'd give it to you if I ever met you in person. I've been carrying it to games ever since, just waiting for the right time." Clark accepted the letter with a look of genuine appreciation. She unfolded it slowly, almost reverently, as if she sensed it was more than a typical fan note. Her expression shifted as she read, first curious, then surprised, and finally deeply moved. Her eyes widened, then narrowed as she lingered on certain lines. A warm smile spread across her face, and for a moment it seemed she might tear up. "Would you mind if I read part of this out loud?" she asked. Smith gave an immediate, encouraging nod. "I think this is something everyone should hear," Clark said, clearing her throat before reading in a voice that carried both joy and emotion. By the time she finished, the room was filled with laughter, louder than before, and even a few reporters clapped at Maya's unfiltered, heartfelt words about her dad's basketball opinions. "She's definitely not wrong about that last part," Smith quipped, grinning. The room broke into another wave of laughter, the atmosphere now lighter and warmer, transforming the moment from a tense sports media exchange into something far more human, funny, genuine, and unexpectedly touching. So, what's your take on the reporter's unexpected statement that left Caitlin Clark speechless? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.